This is lesson 2 of our course. The first class we did, everything was new, so it's quite a lot to take in. The second lesson, you're going to be quite familiar because we're not adding lots of new things, we're going to clarify what we've done, and you'll find you follow a little more easily. So let's jump on the mat and get started. This is our second class of this beginner's course that we're putting online. If you haven't already had a chance, have a look at the first class, or definitely have a look at the introduction to the first class, and that will just tell you a few important things before you begin. Hopefully you've done the first class, hopefully you've done it a few times, so we can begin now into the second week of this course. A lot of the things we'll be doing today are repeats, but taking them a bit further of what we worked on in the last class. So let's start by bringing the feet together for Tadasana. Look down at your feet. See that the inner edges of your heels and the inner edges of your big toes are down on the floor and they're facing forward. Lift up your toes and open the arches of your feet, and now let the toes come down. Press the fronts of your thighs back, shins back, knees back, and now raise your chest up. Have your arms by your side. From the side, see what that looks like. Fronts of the legs back, fronts of the knees back. Then let the buttocks come forward against the action of the thighs going back. Bring the chest forward and up. Roll the shoulders back. And keep your eyes level, looking straight ahead, not up nor down. And now, come back for a moment and take your feet hip width apart. I'm going to go through firstly the jumping action of taking the legs apart. To take the feet apart, just watching, bring your hands up, you bend the knees, you jump. When you land, you notice the knees bend a little as we land. As we come back, the arms come up this way, the knees bend, and we jump back. If you're working with stepping, I'm just going to show that now, you'll bend, you won't jump, you'll take one leg, you'll take the other leg, and then you take the arms out. To come up, you bring the arms up, you step one leg, the other leg, and then you can bring the arms back down. So let's jump straight into it today, to Trikonasana. This is the first pose, first of the standing poses that we did last week. Hands to your chest, bend your knees, arms and legs together, jump. Drop your hands for a moment and look at your feet. Look at the distance between your feet. One leg length between the legs. We're going to turn this right leg, the right leg. We're going to turn the heel in and the foot out. So your foot, knee, shin are facing this side wall. Arms straight, extending to the sides. So your legs are straight, your arms are straight. Now we're going to take the right hand onto the shin, keeping the legs straight. So you might go to here, you may go a little lower, but keep this front leg straight. The top arm is straight up, back heel pressed to the floor, keeping the legs straight, come up. Outside edge of your left foot, hold it onto the floor. Take your right arm up, press your left heel down, reach out, reach out, reach out, and take the hand to the shin. Extend your left arm up to the ceiling, turn your head to look up. Breathe. Now, keeping the legs straight, press and come up. Turn your right foot in, so toes are facing straight ahead. Now we're going to turn the left heel to the center and roll the left thigh out. While we've gone to this second side, just check your distance. If you suddenly look down and the feet are less than a leg length, take a little bit further distance by taking this right leg back. Legs straight, extend the arms, open your chest. Right knee, right thigh, press it back. Right heel, press it down. Keeping the left leg straight, take the left arm up, reach out, reach out, reach out, reach out, hand to the shin. Depending on where you can go with you keeping that top leg straight, front leg straight, top arm up, raise the top arm to the ceiling, keep the right knee back, the right heel down, press into the feet, and come up. Now turning the left foot in, Both feet facing the front. We're going to jump or step the feet back together. Hands up, bend the knees, jump, bend the knees as you land. Trikonasana again. Hands to the chest, bend your knees, jump. Turn your right leg out, so foot, knee, turn out. Trunk facing the front, arms, they're at shoulder height. Press the left heel to the floor, go down, press into the feet, come up. Make your feet heavy, press them to the floor. Don't bend the knees, go down, keeping the legs straight, arms straight, press and come up. One more time, go down. Wrap this right hand, thumb on the inside, fingers on the outside, so you're supporting your trunk with this arm. So you want to hold that shin so you can extend the top arm up, press and come up, legs straight. Turn your right foot in, turning the whole of the left leg out. So from the thigh, turn, knee, turn. Foot, knee, thigh facing sideways. Straighten the legs, straighten the arms, raise the chest. Exhale, go down, press into the feet and come up. Press into the feet to come up. Go down, press into the feet, keeping the legs straight, come up. Only go down as far as you can keep the legs straight. Exhale, go down, thumb on the inside of the shin, fingers around the back, top arm up. Breathe, press and come up. Turn your feet to the center, open your chest, take your hands up, bend your knees, jump up. Step your feet hip width apart. Now I'm going to show you another aspect of Trikonasana which we're going to look at now. I'm going to show you what the pose should look like from side on. So I'm going to just go across my mat here. This is my front leg. This will be my front leg, so facing you that way. And if you're going to look at my buttock and back of the body, when I go down, I want to keep the buttock in and my head and my shoulders as if I'm just going along a wall. So when I go down, you see the buttocks, this front leg buttock is in, the back leg thigh is back, and I'm going to take my head and my shoulders back in line with the buttocks. So this buttock into the body, this shoulder, I'll show you with my hand here, turning up, head back in line with the buttocks. Top arm up. And you'll come up. So let's have a look at that together. Stand in Tadasana. Stand back into the heels. Raise your chest. Arms by the side. Let your armpit chest curl forward. As you curl the chest forward, bring these shoulder blades and back ribs into the body. Hands to the chest, bend the knees, jump, feet apart. Turn the right leg out. Now, this is your outer buttock. I'm going to show you from the back for this first part. So this is your front leg, this outer buttock. I want you to really squeeze that into the body. And your head and your shoulders, I want you to stay in line with the back as you go down, as you go down. So squeeze the buttock forward, take the head and shoulders a little back, so as if you're flat between two panes of glass. Press and come up. Now, just looking one more time from the back, I'm going to turn to the other side. So if I had this wall behind me, I want to travel along the wall, the arms, the shoulders, sliding down the wall, keeping this buttock into the body, turning this top shoulder back, and then take the top arm up. So my head, back of my shoulders, buttock, and even the back leg are flat and in line. Press and come up. Step the feet back together. Tadasana. Let's try that together. Hands to the chest, bend the knees, jump. Turn your right leg out. Keep your body, back of your body back, and your outer right buttock, keep it squeezing in. So your head travels along this plane, back of your head doesn't come forward as you go down. As you go down, take the top arm to your waist. Squeeze your right buttock forward, lean your head and shoulders a little back. Now turn your top shoulder up to the ceiling. Keep pressing the back heel to the floor. And now take the top arm up. Breathe. Press and come up. Turn to the other side. Turn your right leg in. Turn the whole of your left leg out. So outer hip, outer buttock on the left, squeeze it in. Keep your head and shoulders back in line. Imagine that wall still behind you. You're sliding down, down, not coming forward, head staying back, shoulders staying back. Buttock, squeeze it forward on the left. Take the top hand to your waist. Head and shoulders, lean them a little back. Squeeze the buttock in on the left. Now turn the chest, press into the feet, and take the top arm up. Turn the head to look up. Breathe, breathe through the nose. Press and come up. Turn the feet to the center. Open the chest. Hands to the chest, elbows shoulder height. Bend your knees. Arms out and bound by the sides. Tadasana. Just open, lift up your feet for a moment to open and release the soles of the feet. Now we're going to go to Uttanasana, a resting pose. I'll show you from the side. Feet are hip width apart. Hands are going to begin on the thighs. Keeping the legs straight, you're going to take the hands down. Keeping the legs straight, hands maybe only go to there. Maybe you go a bit lower. Keeping the legs straight to where you can without bending the knees. If you can still go, you could take the hands to the floor, but don't bend the knees. Keep the legs straight. So either hands there, you could be hands here, but looking forward. Hands could be higher up, legs straight. Then release the head down. I'll go low with my hands. Release the head and release the neck at the back down. Now look forward. Press into the feet and come up. Just for a moment, sit in cross leg. Just sit down on the floor, sit on something. I'm just going to watch this second pose we're going to do together. We did it last week, Pasha Konasana. So just sitting for a moment, hands to the chest, jump a wider distance. Turn your right leg out completely, so the thigh and the knee are facing this wall. Really important that the knee does not turn now forward. You're going to bend this front knee like we did last week. Bend, drop the thigh right down, then take your right fingertips to the floor and your top arm up. Notice the front leg is bent, the back leg is straight, and the arms are straight. See how my chest is turning upwards? And you'll press into the feet, and you'll come up, and we'll jump the feet back. So come up to standing. Stand in Tadasana, inner heels, big toe base. Bring your weight back into the heels. Thigh bones back, roll your buttocks forward, lift your chest up. Breathe through the nose. Eyes quiet. Pasha Konasana, we'll do it together. Hands up, bend, jump. Now remember, this pose is a slightly wider, longer distance. All these poses where we bend the front knee, we need a longer distance than the first pose, Trikonasana. So we're turning the front leg out. Just to see that our distance is correct, watch my front knee. So when I bend, I want to keep my knee, I'll just move my hand there, so knee stays over the ankle. See my shin bone, it's straight. Knee hasn't gone past the ankle. So that's the distance you need to maintain. If I need more distance, I just take this back leg a little back so I can sink down. Extend the arms. Bend the front leg. Bend, bend, then take the fingertips to the floor. Top arm up. Bend a little further down. Keep the back leg straight. Push the knee with, push your knee with your arm backwards and look up to the ceiling. Press and come up. Hands to the waist. Turn your back leg in. Turn your whole front leg. From this top thigh, rotate the thigh. Knee has to face sideways, not turning towards the front here. Let's bend the knee, sink down. Remember how far we have to sink the buttocks down. Notice the back leg is still straight. Hand just to the floor, fingertips. Bend down a little more. Bend down a little more. But see how the back leg, it's still straight. Top arm up. Turn to look up. Turn this front knee a little back. Press and come up. Turn to the center. Jump the feet back. Now I'm going to show you from the front two things. The knee and that head-shoulder alignment. So if I'm facing straight ahead to you now, I bend this front leg. I want to keep the buttock in and this knee turning from inside to out, inside to out. I take my hand, I'm going to take it on the outside of the knee so you can see a little more here. The buttock in and the knee is going to be turning this way. If I have the hand on the inside, it's the same action, but I'm pushing that knee back. And if you can see now, my head and my shoulders remain in line there. So I'm not pushing the buttocks out, not that. I'm bringing the buttocks in, I'm taking the head and shoulders back. Then you'll take the top arm up and you're going to open the chest. But you can still see I've got to keep the head and the shoulders back. Then I can open the chest. You'll press and we'll do it together. Feet together, Tadasana. Hands up, bend the knees, jump. Turn your right leg out. Now, so we've got this same imaginary wall behind us. So when you bend, you stay back, head back, shoulders back. Then take the hand down. Don't lean your head forward, keep it back. Hand on the inside of the knee. And I'm going to push the knee back to the back of the room. Top arm up, head lean back. And now turn your chest to look up. To come up, press into the feet, extend the top arm up. As if someone's pulling you up to bring you up. Turn the feet, so right foot in, left leg rotate out, bend the left leg. Remember how far we need to sink down, check your distance, knee, don't let it go past the ankle, sink down. Fingertips to the floor. If you look down, if your head is a long way forward, it means your buttocks is probably sticking back. So if you watch me here, I'm going to really bring my buttocks in, lean the head and the shoulders back, so my head is really in line with my foot. And then from there, I can push the knee back behind and turn the chest to look up. Breathe, press, and come up. Turn the feet, jump the feet back. Stand in Tadasana. Soften your breath. Soften your jaw. Soften your tongue. Stand feet hip width apart. Or sit. If you need to, when I demonstrate, just sit to give yourself a quick breather. I'm going to go to the next pose, Virabhadrasana 2. Hands to the chest. You'll be just watching still now. Jump. A wide distance because it's a bent knee pose. Front leg is turning out. Now watch my shoulders, watch my trunk. So I'm going to keep this two hips, two shoulders in line. I'll bend the front leg, arms will be to the side. We did this last week, Virabhadrasana 2. So you bend down, front leg bends, arms are extending, bend. But see how my trunk, this shoulder remains over this hip. This right side of my chest or trunk lifts up, and then you're going to look along that front arm. Turn, and you'll jump or step the feet back together. So let's go through that together. Stand in Tadasana. Raise your chest. Virabhadrasana 2. Hands to the chest, bend the knees, jump. Turn the right leg out. Left shoulder and left hip. I want you to keep these in line. To go down, I'm going to get you to look at your left hand. So you know what's going to happen to this front leg. You're going to bend it. But I want you to keep looking back from shoulder to fingers on your left hand. So bend, look back, bend, look back, bend, look back. Now, without moving your trunk, just turn your head forward. Then turn your head, look along the front arm. Look down to see if you need to bend that front leg a little more. Notice the back leg is straight. Arms extending. Breathe. Press and come up. Keep the arms up this time. Raise the chest. Turn your right leg in. Turn your left leg out. Trunk facing the front. Right shoulder to right fingers extend. Bend this left thigh, bend, but look back at your back leg. Bend this left thigh down, extend back into your right arm. Bend your left leg down. Now look forward. See if this leg needs to go down more, thigh down. Look forward over the front arm. Sink a little further down. Breathe. Press and come up. Turn to the center. Jump the feet back. Tadasana. Let's do that a little more quickly. Hands to the chest. Bend the knees. Jump. Turn the right leg out. Raise the chest. Bend the front leg to a square. Sink down. Drop the thigh. Right side of the chest up. Bend down. Look along the front arm. Back leg straight. Front leg bent. Lift the chest. Take the head and shoulders back. Press. Come up. Turn your right foot in. Turn your whole of the left leg out. Raise the chest. Head back. Look along your left arm. Bend the front leg. Make a square. Back leg straight. Bend. Head back. Press and come up. Turn. Jump the feet. Tadasana. Step the feet hip width apart. Hands to the thighs. Show you from the side. Go forward. Rest. If you can go forward still, go forward. Now release the head. Keep going down if you can. Release the head and release the neck. Keep the legs straight. If you're really at the ankles and you can go further, you could take the hands to the floor. But notice that the legs have to stay straight. So it doesn't matter if you're here or here, but better your legs are straight. If you can have the hands on the floor, legs straight. Then release the head, release the neck. Press and come up. So these standing poses which we've been doing now, you'll notice they're strong. It's quite strong, active work that we do, and these are our real foundation poses. They're really corrective poses. They're the poses that we kind of work with to correct imbalances in the body. It's through the feet, through the legs, into the hips, to the spine. We also, in a way, are working on the spine. Really important is this correct, what we call alignment. In Iyengar yoga, it's something we talk a lot about, is where everything goes. Nothing's done haphazardly. The knee sinks down this far. The knee has to turn back this way. The back leg is straight. So it's very precise in how we put these poses together. And that's a really important part of how we improve your posture, how you kind of relieve things like stiff back. So it's a real foundation of these poses. Even as you progress into more advanced poses, this correct foundation really holds through. So what you're learning now is very much for a beginner, but it's these correct foundations which will, in time, really hold your practice together. We're going to do two slightly different standing poses now. New ones from last week. The ones we just did with what we did last week. The more you practice them, the more they'll make sense to you. So same with this lesson. The more you do it, the more it will come familiar. So we're going to go to Virabhadrasana 1. Just either be sitting or standing, feet hip width apart. I'm demonstrating first, so you just watch. So it's really important you watch and have a visual of what the pose looks like. And then I'll take you through it and I'll teach you as we go. So hands to the chest, jumping. Hands on the hips this time. So we're going to turn the legs a little differently now. So we'll turn the front leg out, as we did. But this time I've got to bring this back hip around. So my trunk no longer is going to face forward. My trunk is going to face to the side. I'm just going to show you from this side, so I'm kind of turning towards the other camera. So I'll turn this front leg out. Then this back hip I need to bring around. To do that, if you notice, I'm going to lift my back heel as I turn that hip. So that back heel, I'll just do that again. From here, where my hand is, I'm moving this hip around. I just have to lift that back heel up to bring it around. So now you see my hips have turned side on. It's a bent knee pose, so the same shape. Shin up, thigh going horizontal to the floor. Chest up. Now arms will take up, so you lift up. Now I'm going to bend the front leg, so you look at the shape here. Front leg is bent. Trunk is upright. Back leg is straight. Now my heel's close to on the floor. You may need to have the heel up, that's okay. But still you've got to keep that back leg straight. So as long as the leg is straight, the heel's up at this point, that's okay. And you're lifting the chest up this way. And you'll turn back and we'll do both sides together. So come up to standing or bring your feet back to Tadasana for Virabhadrasana 1. Hands to the chest, bend the knees, jump. Hands to the waist. Turn your right leg out. Now, this action. From your hip, turn, let the back heel come a little up. Once you're facing sideways, arms up. Lift up your chest. Bend the right leg bends, back leg remains straight. Bend, sink down, back leg is straight, reach back into the heel, arms up. See how my trunk doesn't drop forward, it goes straight up. Press, come up, arms to the side, hands to the waist. Turn left leg out. With your hand, you have to lift this heel, right heel a little up and bring that hip around. So my hips now, or your hips also are facing sideways, not front, they're to the side. If you need to, lift the heel a little more to turn. Arms up, chest up. Bend the left leg to a square. Back leg straight. Bend down, bend down. Raise the chest up, bend down. Press and come up. Arms to the side, hands together, jump, feet together. Now we've reached the sitting part of the class. So we're going to use some pieces of equipment. I've got 2 blankets here. I mentioned this in the first class, some of the equipment we'll be using. We're going to fold them, and you could be using, I've used towels in the past, I use cushions, whatever really creates this shape. So I'm going to fold them this way. You can see, so I've got that kind of width of shape. Could be blankets, could be towels, anything you like at this point. Now we're going to start with something around that height. Could be a little less. And I'll show you firstly from behind the first pose we're going to do. So I'm going to put those back this way, and I'm going to sit on the blankets, but my feet are to the side. So if you see from behind, put your thumbs into your calves, put them back into the side, and sit down. Now, that may be really comfortable, no problem. So you might be able to actually at this point take one of those away and sit a bit lower. But make sure your buttocks is down. Don't be kind of perched up. You want to be down. If you happen to be very stiff, you may find you actually need to go even more height. So just grab another blanket, another towel, something to sit on. So you're sitting. From the front, your knees are together. Remember, the feet are to the side. Then you're not sitting on the feet at this stage. Hands to the thighs and raise the chest up. This is Virasana. It's a very important sitting pose because of the helps to create flexibility in your ankles, your feet, your knees, and your hips. And if you sit in chairs a lot, if you drive a lot, you probably find you might be very stiff in these areas. So sitting on a bit of extra height will allow it to be bearable. So you want to be bearable, not in pain, not on your knees, not on your back, not in your ankles. On the edge a little bit's okay, but not in pain. And we just sit, keeping the chest up, and that process really quietens the legs and lets them settle after all those standing poses. Now, we're going to take the legs forward, so we're going to release the legs out to the front. And I'm going to show you from the side. So we're going to still sit on that little bit of height you've got. I'm just going to push that out of the way there. So you're going to sit, and I've got a belt here. Now, I mentioned this last week. It could be anything. It could be a bit of rope, could be a normal belt. You're just going to have something that you can place around your feet, around the balls of your feet that way, so you can raise your chest up. So I'm still sitting on that height behind me, but now if you look from behind, you can see my back is ideally in and straight. So I'm raising the spine up, I'm pressing the seat, the thighs, the legs down, and you're raising the chest up this way. Breathe. And now release the belt. Just drop the belt for a moment. Take your fingers behind you, and you're going to do the same action. Just let the belt drop there. I'm going to push your hand to raise the spine up, press the thighs down. Now, just to really feel that your back is working, your spine is moving into the body, this sacrum is moving in, I'll get you to take your arms to the side. Now, I'm going to turn back to the front. We're going to still keep sitting on whatever height you're using there. We can put the belt off to the side for a moment. Sit on that blanket and cross your legs. So you're just going to cross the legs this way. If your knees are way up high, build up more height under your buttocks. So the higher your buttocks lifts up, the more your legs will be able to release down. Raise your chest up. So in all these poses, the legs go down, the spine comes up. Change the cross of your legs. Just take the other leg in front, bring them back in, cross them, hands on your thighs, raise your chest up. Now, if you're really finding this difficult, practice it a bit more often. Just learn to sit on the floor more often. Sit this way, sit with something under your buttocks, and you'll start to gradually soften up so everything is more easy to sit. And release. Now take your legs just out to the front, wide. Have a look here. A big toe to, so inner heel to big toe is straight up. Hands are just by your sides. It could be on your bolster, on your support if you need. And you're going to raise the chest up that way. Take your back ribs in. Like we did earlier, take your hands to the side, bring your back ribs in, press into your heels, thighs down, chest up, release your arms. One more here. Soles of the feet together for Pasha Konasana. So the heels come towards each other, feet come as much as they can into the body. Hands, I'm going to just take them back onto the floor or just onto whatever you're sitting on. And you're going to raise the chest up. So now, thighs are lengthening to the knees, and ideally your legs are coming towards the floor. It doesn't matter if they're not at this point. It's starting to practice these things regularly will start to make a difference. Notice the chest lifts up, Eyes and head straight. And now we're just going to do one more thing here. I'm going to reach over and take that belt again. You're going to place your belt or a bit of rope, whatever you're using, under your feet. Hold it and pull to really bring your back ribs in, to raise your chest up. I'm going to show you one more time from the side, but just stay here. You can still look forward. But if you look what that looks like from the side, the belt is around the feet. And I'm really bringing that back waist in, back ribs in, to raise the chest up. So holding the belt, pull this, what we call kind of sacrum, back waist area into the body, raise the chest up, and now release the legs out, straight out that way. Now, we're going to go today again to a pose we did last week called Tadasana. So I'm just going to put all those things out of the way for a moment, and you're going to lie on your back. You have to have your feet on the mat. And you're going to take your hands by your sides of your hips. You're going to press your heels down. And you're going to hold the mat. And you're going to raise your buttocks up, 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 up as high as you can. And then let it release down. Holding the mat, this time raise the hips up, 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 and down. So if you need to, just stop and have a, get up and have a look at this next part, because I'll show you and then we'll do it together. So just kind of either roll to the side or sit up so you can actually see, because I want to add something to it. So I'm going to press the heels, raise the buttocks as high as I can, and then I'm going to tuck the shoulder tips a little under. From there, I'm going to press the heels, raise the buttocks up, and release down. So if you lie back, hold your mats, and we'll do it together. Press the heels, lift the buttocks up, up. Just as, make sure your heels are underneath your knees. Buttocks up, tuck your shoulders under, raise your chest towards your chin, and then release your buttocks down. One more time. Press the heels, raise the buttocks up, lift your back ribs to the ceiling, higher, hips higher, push your chest towards your chin, and release buttocks down. Now roll onto your right side to come up. And we're going to do the last kind of pose, which we do pretty much in every class, Shavasana. We're going to add something this week. I'm going to grab one of my blankets or towels, whichever you're using will be fine. I'm going to fold it in half so you can see here that it's got a neat edge and it's got a loose edge. So just watching this first, and then I'll get you to do it. So I'm going to put that neat edge of the blanket towards where my neck is going to be, my head is going to be. And then I'm going to sit. Just watch me now, and then I'll take you through doing it yourself. So you'll be sitting. See how much distance there is between the blanket there. So knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Go onto my elbows. Still just watch me. Don't worry about it. I'll take you through to do it. Then you're going to lie back, further back. And I'm going to rest my head on that blanket. But if you notice, my shoulders are on the floor. Shoulders are on the floor. Neck and head is supported by the blankets. From there, my arms are to the sides. I'm going to take one leg out, the other leg out. Now, one more thing here. If your back really doesn't like lying flat, for some it won't, for the moment, just work this way with your knees bent. Otherwise, take your legs out straight this way. My feet, you can see they're turning out to the side, and my feet are a little wider than my hips. My head is facing straight to the ceiling. Now, you're going to do it, and I'm going to give you some instructions. So, put your blanket at one edge of your mat. Then sit in the middle of your mat Look up at your knees. Knees are bent. Feet are on the floor. And now go back onto your elbows. Then lay the rest of your back down onto the floor. Now make sure that blanket now is under your head and under your neck. Shoulders are on the floor, on the mat. Take your arms to the side so they're wider than your hips, off the mat, your hands. Take your feet towards the outside edge of the mat, not off the mat, but just a little bit wider than your hips. Now just take a moment to feel your arms, your legs, your head, the whole back of your body resting on the floor. Now you really just have to listen to me. So you're just following these instructions. You're lying down. Close your eyes. Now, it's really important your eyes stay closed, but that's not always going to be easy. Often in class, I keep saying, and close your eyes, because I'll look around, I'll see people, their eyes find it very hard to stay closed. And I'll just repeat that when I need it, and gradually people learn to keep their eyes closed. So I'll try and say it a bit, but you watch yourself. If your eyes are open, keep closing them. Just work on keeping them closed for this next part. Let your hands and your feet release, soften. Let your big toe release towards your little toe. Let your shins rest down. Imagine you had like a big weight on your thighs and your thigh bones were just sinking to the floor. Your abdomen, your navel area, let it soften down towards the floor. So imagine someone just lightly putting their hand on your abdomen, so your abdomen just releases back towards the floor. So this whole cavity from your hip bones up to your kind of top of your rib cage there, that whole front soft area, let it just soften down. Feel your shoulders, the back of your arms resting on the floor. Let your back of your head and the back of your skull ease into the blanket, rest into the blanket. Just check that your eyes are closed. If they're open, just pull your eyes shut. Because if your eyes are quiet and closed, you have more chance of keeping the head quiet. So observe your legs, your arms, your trunk, your head, and just feel them rest down, almost that you're going to sink into the floor a little more. Now we're going to move to little finer points of the body. So your jaw, right at your back teeth, let your lower jaw just ease away, drop away from your upper jaw. Soften the tongue, so let the tongue just sit a little further back in your mouth, so the tongue is quiet. Let your eyes, again check that they're closed. Let your eyelids just almost drop further across your eyes, like big heavy curtains, let them just rest down. The outer corners of your mouth just soften, release. Let your eyes sink further back into the eye sockets. So often your eyes may be closed, but your eyes are still very active, still almost jumping around underneath the eyelids. Learn to quieten the eyes. Let the eyes drop back into the eye socket. Now the skin around the outer corners of your mouth soften. Over your cheeks, let the skin release. Between your eyebrows, that kind of spot between your eyebrows, just let the skin broaden there. Over your forehead, let the skin soften. So the skin, particularly over the face, often it kind of grips and unconsciously is active. Let the whole face become soft and quiet. Observe your breath. So just find your breath, listen to your breath, watch your breath. So when your face is quiet, when your body is still, you can then have a chance to really almost find your breath, see your breath. So the breath is very much a part of us, our breath. And it's, when you come to yoga, it's something you will, start to look at, and that's your breath. So observe whether your breath is smooth. Observe whether your breath has a slow rhythm or a fast rhythm. Observe your inhalation. Observe the pause, that breath stops, and then you have to exhale, and then the breath stops again, and then you inhale again. So just observe the breath a few more cycles. Gentle, soft inhalation. Gentle, soft exhalation. Now, I want you to not move anything else. Don't open your eyes. Hopefully they're still closed. Bend your knees up, one at a time. Place one foot on the floor. Place the other foot on the floor. Knees bent. Keeping your eyes shut. Bring your hands one at a time up and place them on your abdomen. Wait there a moment. Eyes still closed. Face still quiet. Breath still soft. Now, very slowly, very gradually let your eyes open, but keep your focus soft, like you've been asleep for a long time and you reluctantly want to open your eyes. And now you're going to roll over onto your right side. So bring your left shoulder all the way up so it's directly above the right. Rest your head on your right arm. So just take your arm out and rest your head on your arm. And wait a moment there. And now roll over further onto that side, push off your left hand and come up. So we've 2 classes in now. We've done the first class. Now that was the second class, a lot of the same things. We took them a little further. What I would repeat to you is that the way we work this course at the Marrickville Yoga Centre is that we offer 10 classes a week of the same class. We encourage students to come to as many of those as they can, and often the more they can do of each class before they move on to the next week, the better they find the progression. So again, if you can, repeat this class a few times. The more you repeat it, the more you'll hear, the more confident you'll go before we move into the next class. The more foundation, the more understanding of the basics, more correct that is, the easier you'll find your progress down the line. So thank you for today, and hope you get to practice this a few more times, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. That's lesson 2 done. So you've already started, you've got some foundations, you start to understand things a little more. So stick with it, you'll keep getting better as we progress.